access this on our YouTube channel. This will be published at the very end after a day or so for it to render. Okay, so Headless 360 deep dive. We're going to talk about build using any coding agent, deploy on any surface, and scale securely with native governance. Those are the 3 pillars of Headless. Okay, so with that, okay, there is going to be a hands-on workshop at the end of the slide deck demos. Okay, so again, I don't want to lose anybody. All right, some of you might be clueless about Headless, okay? All right, so we want to make sure that these heads are not rolling. Okay, y'all are following along and you know exactly what it is that you're getting into, because I know that you all are here because you are interested in upper echelon job opportunities that are offered to that are offered to architect level understanding. Okay, and you need to be able to configure an external client app, understand what sort of governance implications this might have for implementing Headless in with some of your orgs that you might be working on with a client. So then, when we do our hands-on workshop, okay, there's going to be 4 steps: creating that external client app. That's how Headless, essentially, we set up some guardrails around authentication, activating the Salesforce hosted MCP servers, and then integrating those MCP servers with a custom playground that mimics a chat client like ChatGPT or Claude. So the reason why we're connecting to like a custom MCP server is because ChatGPT and Claude, those have financial barriers around them in order to be able to make this connection, make it all go smooth. So Salesforce's answer in providing these workshops was to create their own custom one, but it's going to work the same way like it would if you were connecting ChatGPT or Claude into your Salesforce instance. Okay, so if you're here for the workshop and you want to skip ahead, it's totally fine. The link to the instructions are available to you there. Okay, so let's talk about agentic AI and what's changing and how we build. All right, so everyone's moving on. Okay, we're in the agentic era. Okay, has been this way, well and through since 2024, when some of the early researchers in OpenAI founded Anthropic and started setting some guardrails into how these into how these chat clients would connect to different databases and files and all sorts of different apps with these features. Okay, so this affects every role that we are in, whether you're a developer, an architect, an admin. Okay, this is a wide sweeping adjustment and change into the learning curve. Okay, do you all remember how Data 360 was a really big learning curve in Salesforce? This is the next one. And I know some of us have not even crossed over that threshold, and we're already feeling a little behind with the Data 360 and how you implement it, all right? There's another wave coming. So it's going to be a deep breath, okay? Because all you have to do is just know how to connect it, and then everything's going to flow along smoothly, okay? So with this change, okay, with AI, all right, we understand humans access Salesforce through a browser, okay? You open up a URL and you click through it. How do agents access Salesforce? Through MCP tools, okay? So how many of you have had your Salesforce org open, okay, whether it's debugging a flow or whether it's understanding some automation that's buried deep in there? And how many of you have taken a screenshot of what's in your org and said, why is this busted? Why is this not working? What did I do wrong? Okay, or maybe you copy pasted in some of your Apex code in a ChatGPT or Claude and said, SOS, help me. Okay, I'm sure that we all can relate to this scenario. Isn't there an easier way? Can't Claude and ChatGPT just plug into my org and tell me what's going on? And can't we just have this live syncing communication between the database and all this metadata and what it is that I want to do as a human being to serve my client their business need? You can. So you do this through an MCP. Okay, so MCP, Model Context Protocol. This is the open standard that makes some sense out of these haywires, okay, that used to exist when we had multiple integrations, multiple APIs connecting to an LLM in their own form and fashion, okay? It was an absolute mess. So with MCP, we have standards, okay? We have a standard connector that is going to help facilitate the exchange between these AI tools and the apps that they can run. Okay, so how do we empower these coding agents? We're going to empower them with skills and with MCP. So whenever you hear the word MCP, that acronym, okay, I want you to think Model Context Protocol. And in your brain, I want you to think it's just a standard connector. It's all it is, okay? It's just like a standard, okay? So Headless 360 is going to open up Salesforce to the agent of your choice, okay? Whether it's Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, or any one of the other extraneous agents that you have available at your fingertips, that is what Headless does, okay? A lot of us are even asking, why even bother logging into Salesforce at this point? Can't I just query into my AI agent? Why even bother learning reports anymore? That's coming up in conversation. Why do I need to be able to build and structure and figure out how to act in that interface and do all of these steps? Why can't I just ask Claude or ask ChatGPT, how many open opportunities do I have as a sales rep, as a sales agent? So it's retraining our brains and thinking about a composable platform surface for developers and agents and apps and tools to expose all of those Salesforce capabilities that are governed through entry points, while we're relying on that Salesforce platform and trust layer for identity, permissions, validation rules, automation, and access control. So no more screenshots. All we need is a key. And that is what we're going to set up today in our live demo later on in this, okay? But I want you to make sure that you understand these 3 pillars of what it is that we're doing, okay? You get to build with any third-party coding agent. That's the power of Headless. Model freedom, platform legibility, out-of-the-box guardrails, and everything is GA. How are you going to do that? Okay, so Salesforce has published a Salesforce skills library. Okay, if you look on the presentation, you're going to find some nice links in the speaker notes, including a link to the Salesforce skills library. So you'll find, I think they're up to over 100 MCP tools, over 60 skills. And there's also a guide that was just published yesterday on Salesforce Ben, the ultimate guide to Anthropic's Claude for Salesforce professionals, okay, which I think you all might find very helpful. Okay, so we're going to make every coding agent a Salesforce expert, okay, with all of these pre-built skills. Fantastic. So we've got a couple different kinds of agents. We've got coding agents, okay, that are going to help build the system, and runtime agents, okay? So with a runtime agent, that's an agent that runs inside the system once it's built, lives in your product, and it's kind of like the honeydew for me, okay? It touches records, transactions, conversations. This might be like a customer support agent or a sales agent. Hey, make me tasks on all of my opportunities that are going to close within 10 days, okay, that are in such and such status, okay? So you've got, again, help me build, help me configure, help me figure out this system, and then the runtime agent, honeydew for me. Okay, so with that, okay, this is very empowering as an admin, okay? If you can imagine, having an intelligence setup, an exponential productivity, okay, where you come into this headless framework and era. Okay, second pillar, all right, you can deploy on any surface. That means Slack, Teams, Gemini, Claude, wherever your imagination may run wild, okay? That's the benefit of it. So it's not only taking in and connecting information through various chat clients, it's also being able to push out, okay? Power of Headless. So speed without logic is just fast friction. So agents are becoming the new software users, and they're flying blind without any sort of guardrails or standards, okay? And this is where builders, okay, developers are wasting valuable time creating these custom middleware and ETL layers. So again, that's where MCP comes into play, because that's gonna be your standard connector, okay? So how does it work? You've got your AI agent, MCP server, where you got tools, authentication, and security, and your trust boundary. Okay, and again, we're just kind of flying through these slides and everything, because we want to make sure we got time enough for the demo. And then you have your Salesforce org with data and configuration, automation, and that headless experience layer. So what does that mean? You have a headless playground, which is available and accessible to you, where you can start experimenting with some of those deployments. You can see on that surface bar at the top how you can deploy through Agentforce, Slackbot, ChatGPT, or other options available. So this is what some of the playground might look like in the instructions there. You can see here you wanted to create maybe some interface options for your users, make it a little bit easier and more intuitive for them to see with badges and buttons. Go for it. Okay. Third pillar, trusted access to Salesforce logic and APIs. So this is where we talk a bit more about governance, okay? And if we think about governance, the way that your MCP connector is going to be set up is just like a user, okay? When we think about any sort of user that gets access to Salesforce, they get scoped with permissions, okay? And you can control this at the object level, at the field level, and you can see here. So this is how give your agent a name. It's got to be an actual user, okay? And this is where you scope it. And then you can get farther along down permissions with some of the data cloud options where you have with data governance, where you're creating and managing tags. And some of these tags have available taxonomies that are already pre-configured for you. For example, if you're working in Health Cloud with HIPAA, or you want to add in GDPR classifications, this is another option of how you would go about making your org secure, okay? So here's a little bit about what it would look like in that preview, configuring some of those tags and then applying them to field level, for example, even address or object level to restrict it and say, hey, this is personal data, to try to lock down your system a little bit more. So then with that, I actually wanted to take a pause here for Walter, because I know that you are very well versed in security and want to make sure that we acknowledge your thoughts.
Security. It's an interesting subject I could spend hours on. But when we think about setting up agents and setting up headless access via agents and the AI tools, we want to think about a couple different things. First of all, we want to think about how you're going to identify and execute context and content. So Salesforce suggests that we leverage a per user OAuth. Therefore, you can leverage Salesforce security and authorization to expose data. We want to look at adopting least privilege principle, so principle of least privilege, at three basic layers. One is going to be the OAuth scope, the other is the MCP tool exposure, and the other is Salesforce authentication itself. We should only expose what is needed. The other aspect is, as you're going through and starting to think, what can I do headless? What are things that you are okay with being done automatically versus what needs a human touch, and build into the process that human touch? So if some sort of approval needs to happen, make sure that still happens regardless of what the agent is doing. And then finally, and this is not nearly exhaustive, but finally, think about issues of prompt injection. So prompt injection is where somebody can actually inject an instruction into their prompt that gets read as some type of authorization. So it's really key to make sure that untrusted content may influence reasoning, but it must never grant authority. So authorization must always remain outside of the models you're building. So those are the key things that kind of keep me awake at night.
Absolutely. Yes, it doesn't take much to sink the ship. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Headless 360, Salesforce is saying that this shouldn't be a surprise. And I know that we are all very, very busy with our day-to-day jobs. There has been so much change on the platform since, call it 2023, 2024, even 22, where we are all trying to keep up with this. So to simplify, when you come across the word headless, I want you to think of a framework. Think of an architecture, okay? It's a concept. When you hear the word MCP, Model Context Protocol, I want you to think connector. That's it. Okay, as an added bonus, you can build natively with any UI framework. So this is just an additional feature of the Headless framework. And let's see, up to how many can we join with the Headless version? A lot of them, Shifali. I think there's like 100. plenty of them, but no worries, we'll circle back to the chats. Yes, so building with any native UI framework. This is going to make a lot of sense for your front-end developers who might be working in React or Node.js, a feature for their deep dive. Okay. So Headless 360 opens Salesforce's architecture to any agent with MCP tools, APIs, and skills available in that Salesforce skills library. Okay, so we can see here lots of information. Here's another slide, keeping it simple for you all in case you need something to refer back to. Okay, so with that, all right, we're doing great for timing. Okay, is there anybody who is lost on the concept of Headless, on the framework of Headless? Okay, is there anybody who still doesn't understand like what an MCP tool, what an MCP is? Okay, it's just a connector making sense of all of, giving our AI agents some set of standards to connect from one application to another, okay? Or from data.
I lost my head 4 slides ago, just saying.
I love it, yes, okay. Walter is ready for Halloween. Okay, he's got his little jack-o'-lantern pumpkin on his shelf. Okay, but yes, are we all feeling pretty comfy cozy? Okay, not seeing anything in the chat that's concerning. So with that, I think that we can move on to the hands-on workshop. So, all right, what I'm going to do is, move this down, and here's what we're going to do. I want you all to go into the org farm sign up, okay? So this is why you're here. Okay, this is a big Headless initiative. This is why you're here today, because these orgs are going to expire September 1st, 2026. And trust me, you want somebody to walk you through these steps because it can be a little bit overwhelming and you have no context or clue, why you're doing the things that you are. So that is why we are here doing this all together, okay? So that's the sign up page. And here are all of the instructions that you're going to need for the next, call it 45 minutes, okay? And then you guys are more than welcome to come off mute. In fact, I would love it, just so I know that everyone is following along. Okay, is everyone able to open up that org farm sign up? This is where I'm gonna be more conversational and want you guys to chime in.
And once you have your org set up, if you could just raise your hand, that way we can see.
Good. Okay, I saw a thumbs up from somebody. Good. Deanne, perfect. Yep. Perfect. Yep. Okay. So go ahead and go to that orgfarm.salesforce.com/signup link. And what you're going to do is type in that code that says workshop. Okay, so your screen should look just like mine, where you type in workshop in all caps, put in your email address. Okay, mine's just here for example. First name, last name, company, your role, and then hit submit. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to pop up my other screens here. Okay. So you all should see something like this once you launch your org. Oh, great. John's in. Okay, so John, do you see a screen like mine, this one?
Sorry. Yeah, I do.
Beautiful. Okay, so what I want you to do is copy paste your username and password just to keep them handy. They're right here, and there's a little copy button. Okay, just go ahead and keep those handy. Beautiful. Okay, so we're copy pasting over our username and password. And then what we're going to do is step by step through the instructions, okay? So first up we're going to do is launch the setup, and we're going to look for Epic. That is the user that the org comes with, org farm Epic. We will edit the user and type in the email address that we want to use today. Okay. Hit save. Good job, Shafali. Okay, perfect. Okay, so then after we save that, we've got to verify the email. So you can pop open your email in a separate tab. And I should get an email that tells me to verify. Let's see here. Let me refresh this. Oh boy, reload. Okay, doesn't look like my change saved, but that's fine. I've had this open for a little bit. Save. Okay. Perfect. Now it looks like it's updating. Beautiful. And then in your inbox, finish changing your Salesforce account's email address. Follow the link below. Verify that email. Cool. So then when I go back into the org, and I refresh this screen, I see that it's got my new email address in there. Email changed. Yay, thank you so much for the feedback. Good, good, good. Yes, this is so helpful. Thank you guys. Okay, next step. So now what we're going to do is create an external client app. Okay, and Walter, I would greatly appreciate you helping me level set what an external client app is and why it's important.
First, I have to level set on finding my mute button. So external app is how Salesforce recognize a trusted app on the outside. It is a way to configure a connection between an external application, leveraging consumer key and consumer secret, as well as other levels of security. So this is the newest way of connecting third-party apps to Salesforce.
As opposed to the legacy connected apps, is that correct?
That is correct. Thank you for filling that gap in.
My pleasure. Okay, so you'll search that up for external client app manager. Okay, so pay attention closely because this is where a lot of people get lost. You'll hit new external client app. And if I look in the instructions, that's under basic information, fill in the required fields. Okay, I can do that. The app name is Workshop MCP Client. The API name is going to get autofilled. Contact email, that's going to be my email. Expand and enable the OAuth settings. That is this one here. Enable OAuth. Fantastic. Callback URL. It's going to be the same for everybody. We just copy paste that here. And Walter, would you mind explaining what a callback URL is? Like, why is this important? What are we doing?
The callback URL is a way the system knows what system is authorized and calling back. So when it tries to connect, it has to be able to send a validation backwards or messages backwards to the correct endpoints.
Thank you so much. Okay. So you can see here that we are sending those endpoint messages to and from the MCP playground. Okay. Scopes. We are looking for the refresh token and offline access. Perform requests at any time. Drag that over. Access Salesforce hosted MCP servers. So I gotta find that one. Perfect. MCP_API. Pick those two. And then under security, we are going to uncheck the require secret web server flow and uncheck requires a refresh token flow. Those were off by default, so you should be fine. And then we're going to check the boxes that says require proof for code exchange. That's already checked. And issue JSON web token. Okay.
And you'll notice in the instructions, the other two boxes that are default checked there are unchecked. The instructions are a little outdated due to Salesforce new security. The other ones are automatically checked as well by default. You can't uncheck them, at least the way they've got it configured currently.
Got it. Walter, what the heck is a JSON web token? What does that mean?
So JSON is a format that leverages the JavaScript object notation for sending information back and forth between systems. So JSON token is leveraged for OAuth authentication. Typically, it will have encoded credentials within it that allow the connections.
Oh, so can I think of this as like a fancy key in order to get into Salesforce?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say it's the key. It's more like the knock on the door.
Okay.
There's a key embedded in there, but it's more of the knock on the door.
I like it. Okay.
And the response to the who is it.
Awesome. Okay, and then next we just create. All right, so it says the external client app can take a few minutes, up to 30 minutes to become available. And now we're going to move on to creating a permission set, okay? So having your external client app correctly configured is pivotal to continuing. Did anyone have any trouble? Should see app status enabled, everything okay? Hoping I didn't lose too many people. Yes, thanks so much, Kevin. Okay, so we're in good shape here. Now creating permission set. So in setup, we'll look for permission.
If anybody's falling behind, just yell out.
Got it. Okay. So next up, make a new permission set. We'll hit new. Label. We're going to go with MCP client user. Okay, so remember, we need to have a permission set because the way that this MCP connector is going to work is it's going to go through an actual user. Okay, that's how we scope the permissions and the access that it has. Okay, API name, description. This grants access to Salesforce MCP servers. We'll hit save. And now we want to manage the assignments. Any guesses on which user we're looking for? It's an Epic one. Org Farm Epic. Okay, that's the user that we started off and where we have our email address change. You should be able to see the last login date, role, all the good stuff. System admin. Next. And we will assign. Great. Okay, so now we're going to secure the access to the external client app. So in setup, we'll go back to external client. External client app manager. Click on workshop MCP client. This is the ECA external client app we just created. Going to edit the policies. And under OAuth policies, under permitted users, we're going to change this to admin approved users are pre-authorized. And Walter, I would love to take a pause here to understand the difference between those two. What does that mean? Okay. Walter might need just a second to find the mute button.
Oh, I was talking off of mute. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's just what it looks like. So either all users can come in and authorize through the system, or only admin approved or pre-authorized users can use this functionality. So this is where the permission set comes into play. So if you have all users, it's not going to go through permission sets. It's going to allow them to they'll get prompted to log on. If you have admin approved, then from here you choose the permission set, and that's where you select the permission set you're going to grant it to, and it's the one you just created down below, the second window down below.
Perfect. Okay, so admin approved users, that's how you get access into the external client app through a permission set, okay, where we can scope and govern.
And what this says is the only people that can use that external app are the people that are in that permission group.
Interesting naming choice. And it says admin approved user. It should be like permission set authorized user.
Well, it's either admin or approved users.
Okay.
I think admin can use it anyway. And if you think about like the use case, you'd be thinking about the other one, all users self-authenticate. Think about the mobile app, where everybody is able to leverage the mobile app and log on through user agent flow and go that route. That's just a form of self-authentication from an external system.
Very good. Okay, so from here, we hit save. And then under settings, let's see here. We're going to go through our consumer key and consumer secret. Here we go. So there's three sneaky little tabs here that you need to bounce around in order to set all of this up. So settings, here is where you will find your consumer key and your consumer secret. Okay, and these are going to be very, very important. If you're doing this in real life, highly recommend sharing these via 1Password or some kind of like a secure password sharing system, as opposed to like just putting these in a Teams chat or something, even though it might be a little bit more convenient. Definitely not an email. Okay. So then we're going to copy the consumer key and the consumer secret by opening up a new tab. Okay, it looks like they gave me an email verification code, which is why we needed to change that email address. I got the code in my email right away, so I'll click verify. Okay, great. So there's a consumer key and a consumer secret. I will set that aside for later, because now what I need to do is head over to those MPC servers. MCP servers. Perfect. So we'll go here, and then we'll click on Salesforce servers, review the servers you would like to activate. Okay. We'll open up the, let's see here. It's the SO object all. We'll activate this one. We'll go back to MCP servers. Look for Salesforce API context. There we go. Looks like it's right here. Activate this one. Go back to MCP servers again for metadata experts. We'll activate this as well. So from your MCP server screen, you should see 3 active servers: SO object all, metadata experts, and Salesforce API context. This is a good part for a checkpoint. How's everybody doing? We have 3 active servers. Good job. Y'all are following along so smoothly. I'm proud of you. Okay. All right then. So we have our connection established. We've got that secure client app, MCP client authentication, created and assigned a permission set that controls who can use that external client app. It's going to be admins or those that are scoped into that permission set. And we activated all the servers. So next up, we're going to go to exercise number 2, where we'll test that Salesforce hosted MCP server in the Headless 360 playground. Okay, so it's same instruction set, you are just here onto exercise number 2. Okay. So we'll crack open the Headless 360 playground. And you're going to need an access code in order to do that. I believe it was community. And we'll hit enter playground. Okay, so the access code, community, in order to get in there. Great. So here we have our MCP server, but imagine that this is, this can be like one of your AI agents. Okay, like for example, Claude or Open AI, we're using the playground and this custom MCP server because Claude and OpenAI, they have those financial limitations and restrictions where you have to have a paid account in order to do all these connections. So that's why we're here. Okay. So then we want to go back into our org, into setup, and we're going to look for my domain. We're going to copy the full URL. My domain name. Yep, I think I've got the right one here. And then we're going to return to the playground. Go into setup. And in the my domain instance URL, I believe that this is where we would type in our instance URL here. And then this is where you're going to fill in that consumer key and consumer secret. So I have those set aside here, consumer key, copy, paste that, consumer secret, copy, paste that. Okay, that's fine. All right. And then let's try connect the org. Voila, we are connected. This is great news. Is everybody able to get connected? So remember from your my domain, copy paste this whole thing, and then you're copying your consumer key and consumer secret over. So if you imagine that you were connecting to Claude or ChatGPT, it's the same process. Connect, you would copy over your my domain, consumer key, consumer secret into that AI client. Okay. Yes, very good. I got one connected. This is great news. Okay, remember I have a voucher to give away, so I'm watching. Okay, how many of you are responsive in this chat? Good job. Okay, we're in great shape. Okay, so all right, click connected org and authorize the app. Connection status should be something similar to this. Okay, we're in good shape. And the Salesforce MPC servers. Okay, so now we're going to move over to the servers tab, and we are going to add in all of the objects. We'll add this. Oh, okay. It looks like that's already in there. API context. Already added. And then, okay, great. Oh, it looks like we have our 3 servers already in here, the all context and metadata experts. So we're in good shape here. And then inspect the Sales Cloud data model. Okay, let's go to the chat tab. Okay, so where we get to ask questions and have all of our answers. Okay, we'll click Tools, select the Salesforce API. Let's see here, where's Tools? Chat tab, click Tools, and select the Salesforce MPI server. This is where, do I need to pick a new chat? Navigate to the chat tab. I wonder if it needs to be a new one. Ah, there we go. Okay, they missed a step. Okay, so you have to click new chat, and then now you get to pick tools. And here is where you would look for context. I'm gonna copy paste this whole thing. Salesforce API context. No tools enabled. Enable all.
I think you missed adding these MCP servers to the chat.
Did I? Okay, so if I go back into servers.
Yeah, you have to click on the little, so you've got them there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can remove the metadata experts. That shouldn't matter, but
Remove that one. Okay.
and go, yeah. So now go back to the chat itself, and then hit tools.
Oh, I wonder if you have to add it in the URL there. Okay, chat.
And now hit the tools. There should be loading tools. Now you check them there. So what you want to search for is the context. Should be at the top. At least on mine, it was at the top. Salesforce context, not there.
Not there. Okay.
Refresh.
So you might have to test them. Did that work for you, Kevin? Let's see. Servers.
Or it may take a second for it to propagate.
Says
Yeah,
that this one's
I didn't have to on mine. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean anything.
Oh, I think it's just that very top one right there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah, you already checked. You already checked, so should be good.
Okay, perfect. All right, so then let's add the prompt. Okay, which Salesforce fields are most relevant?
It'll take 30 to 45 seconds.
Cool.
Maybe longer with everybody hitting the server, because we're all hitting the same stuff at this point.
Very good. Okay, so we are connected and we're talking. We're in the talking phase. Very good. And because it's non-deterministic, your results might not match mine exactly, but it should be pretty close. Let's try another one. Let's see here. Describe the key fields on account lead opportunity. So this is where you get to be creative and add in your own prompts, whatever you wish.
And so what was the prompt we just put in?
That was the one we just put in now was describe the key fields on account lead opportunity, campaign member, call out fields that help explain partner attribution, pipeline health, campaign follow-up, or sales activity.
So what a great way to say, oh, I need to write reports on this. What do I want? What objects do I want to look at, and what do I want to put together?
Yes, this is where having all the descriptions filled in on your fields is going to be so helpful in order for your AI to give you good returns on your queries.
Architect Standard 101, always have descriptions filled out.
Okay. Let's see here, maybe another question I might ask. What opportunities? How can I better enforce the principle of least privilege in my org? I wonder if it'll give me something meaningful back. Ooh, great question. Another one might be, why can't my sales user see this particular opportunity or something if you are like struggling with some of your permissions. Okay. Well, that's how you talk. And now we're going to, let's see here. You can ask other questions about the data that's in the org itself, like show me a sample of accounts by state, industry, type, and employee count. It'll spit out information here. I like this prompt a little better. Which Nevada accounts have the largest employee counts and active open opportunities? I lived in Las Vegas for 10 years, so this one called to me. Cool. And it's fishing for results. Okay.
Yeah. So the prompt before that one's pretty cool too, because it actually shows you, it can visualize your data.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. So that begs the question, why do I need to sharpen reporting skills in Salesforce? You might still have that use case, but if it's just as easy to ask the question and you didn't even have to log into Salesforce, why would you? So. Great. Okay. So the next prompt over in step 5 is it's creating cases using related records. And now we're moving into that other form of agentic interaction. It's not just about asking questions and getting the answers. It's about making my life easier. Okay, the honey-do for me tasks. Create a case for this account with the subject and write the status and escalations and everything. Can you export the retrieved data on the report? Oh, that is a good question. Like how you'd be able to download. I think that would depend on the agent that you're using. In this custom agent that Salesforce has provided, I don't see a way to export it, but I imagine if you did this in Claude or ChatGPT, you might have that option. I hope that answered your question, my ladies.
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So that case number was created. So if I search in my Salesforce org and I look for that case, did it do the thing? We search for case. Let's see here. What do I have to do? Case number 004. Maybe I can look at the subject. Broken scanner. Or did I have to like confirm or something? Creating the case now. Oh, there's a little link I can get to it. Okay. Well, let's see here. Response. Looks like it was successful. If we try to refresh this again. Go under case. Cases. Ah, there it is. Okay, just took a second. Cool. It did my job for me. That's nice. I like this. Okay. And of course, you all are very creative. You can have it make all sorts of things for you. Opportunities, cases, people, whatever you wish. Okay. So now turn Salesforce data into outputs. If you have time, ask the LLM to create a chart from the Salesforce data queried. Oh, this might be nice to visualize with it. And you can imagine that you can play with this all day in order for it to get you like pretty reports and visualizations. Ooh, open pipeline by opportunity stage. Very nice. Have the LLM render a PDF style executive summary. What does that do? Okay. Thanks for the feedback, Kevin. Okay. And DM, you are amazing. Okay. Ooh, I'm going to get a report out of the deal. That's nice. So while this chat tool is thinking, I can summarize that we use the Salesforce API context to inspect the Sales Cloud data model before querying the records. We were able to ask questions, get answers, get nice visuals, and we were also able to get this chat tool to make records for us on our behalf, which is kind of cool. Okay. So eventually it will spit out a PDF. The last exercise that we have for you all is creating a custom MPC server. So we can, it looks like this one's pretty quick, so we can run through it together. But I wanted to take a pause for questions if there were any. Any questions so far? Y'all are hanging in there? Awesome. All right. I think that I'm going to move on from the screen and, oh, how about this? Okay. Wow. That's a pretty report. I like this. That's nice. Ooh.
It has the option to download it on PDF. I like that too.
Yeah. Very slick. Okay. All right, so next up, we're gonna breeze right through to exercise number 3. Okay, create that custom MPC server. So then if we go into MCP Server, and it says, let's see here, create Salesforce MPC Server. I wonder if it's down here. Ah, there we go. Under Add MCP Server, you click Create Salesforce MPC Server. Cool. Label, Custom Sales Tools. Ooh, this might be fancy. Description. Hit create. And then we're going to click add server assets, add tools. And we're going to click create account sync meeting task and add the tool. Okay, so this looks like it was something built in here. And we'll hit save. And then in the type dropdown, okay, we're going to, let's see here. The type dropdown next to Apex Actions. Maybe it's under tools. Apex Actions. Edit here. This is the part where I'm a little bit lost in the instructions. Walter, are you tracking in how you would do the next step at this point? I wonder if you need to add tools. Let's see here.
What step are you on?
I am on step 2 of exercise number 3. It says click add server assets and add tools from the dropdown.
So step 2, yeah. So you were there.
Yeah, I was there. Save. Okay. Tool updated.
Yep.
And then it says click create account meeting sync task and click add tool. And the type drop down next to Apex Actions, select flows.
This is where you need to start by adding tools again. That's the part that they missed. Yeah. The same way you had added the original tool.
Oh, I see. So do I need to add another one?
Yep.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
They left out that critical piece.
Oh, it's here. I would have never found that. Thanks, y'all. Okay. So we go into flows. Beautiful. And then we're going to click on that account.
So just in the search, put in SO object.
SO object. Okay.
And you're looking for SO object reads.
Oh, Walter, it might be a little bit higher up here.
You may have. So you've already finished 2. So back out of here. You've already completed this one. Back out of here.
There was 2 steps actually. So
so hit the add server, and then so add server assets, and then add from server.
Okay.
And now type in SO objects in the search.
Okay. Yep. Because now we're on step 3. Sorry, I was still on step 2.
Yep.
Okay. So now we're going to do SO object reads. Okay. And then locate query records, add that tool, and search across all objects, add that tool. Okay. And then hit done. So you should see 4 tools in okay, so this number here should be 4 tools. And in order to get to those 4 different places, it was add server, add tools, and you needed to toggle this drop down. Thanks so much for calling that out. I think that was Jitendra maybe, or Deanne. Yeah, you guys did great. Perfect. Okay, so we have the 4 things. Beautiful. And then we're going to add the server to the custom playground. So we open up the headless and navigate to servers and paste the server URL we copied here. Okay. Click add. And then we need to click test. And inspect that those 4 tools are in there. Oh, I think it was under custom sales tools. Let's see here. This one's not there.
You've got it. It's there.
It's there? Okay.
Yeah, so you hit add. It's the one that says custom sales tools. That's the one you just added.
Okay, cool. So that server definition is not on there, but maybe let's try running the prompt and see if that's going to work. Or here, I'll just start a new chat. There we go. Okay, so there was a little blocker in the connection here, so I must have done something. Didn't quite get there all the way, but that is how you would generally do it. Let's see if I can fix it. It was under custom sale. Oh, I wonder if I just need to activate it. Okay, let's try that again. Under chat, let's try doing the prompt.
And then you got to add the tools once you're in the chat.
I've got to add the tools once I'm in the chat. So that would be
hit the tools, that tools button at the bottom of the chat.
Chat.
So go back to chat and where it's the tools there.
Ah, I see.
You got to select it there. Yep.
Okay.
And you want to,
Now let's try that again. Okay, so there's some duplicity into how you would need to add it to the, what is it? It's the MCP server and then add it into this chat. Well, look at that. We got connected. We did all the things, y'all. Well, you got through all 3 exercises and had a full headless deep dive demo in an hour. You all crushed it. I will make sure that I publish this recording, and I want to take a special note to say thank you to everybody who joined. Before y'all go, were there any questions or any feedback on how the workshop went? Oh, thanks so much, Shefali. I know it's a lot to like drive and get through all of this deep dive at the same time. If any of you are studying for a Salesforce certification right now, actively studying, you want to take a test soon, please feel free to send me a DM on LinkedIn. And I am going to compare that to my active chat participants. I can see here and determine who is going to get that certification voucher. I want to know when you're going to take your test and what you're studying for, but we will award that. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. I appreciate all of your participation, your feedback. Walter, do you have any more thoughts for the group?
My only thought was, what a rock star you are. Thank you for leading us through this. This was amazing, Brittany.
Oh, my pleasure. Yes. Walter, you were instrumental in explaining all the governance and security and all of the tiny details that I did not know about. So thanks, everybody. Y'all take care and have a great rest of your afternoon.
Thank you all.
Bye.